making a new Resident Evil. We haven't seen this beloved, storied horror franchise since, well, anyway, they're making a new one. The 8th mainline game in the series, in fact, simply titled Resident Evil Village. Thanks to Capcom's recent showcase, we now have a pretty good idea of what the game is, from what it's about, to how it plays, to when it's coming out. Spoilers, it's really soon. This video is going to tell you everything you need to know about Resident Evil Village, and maybe you'll learn why everyone is super thirsty for that very tall vampire lady. If you find this video useful, we'd really appreciate a like and sub, but hey, the fact that you're here already means a lot. Now, let's talk Resident Evil. Village is a follow-up to 2017's Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, and you are once again set in the shoes of Ethan Winters. Village takes place a few years after the events of the Baker Mansion, and Ethan and his wife Mia have settled down after all that madness. And getting busy apparently, because they have a child now. A daughter, in fact. Side note, Resident Evil 7 has two endings, one where Mia dies, and one where she lives. The Mia lives ending has become the canonical ending that Village goes off of. The plot kicks off when Ethan's home is invaded, his daughter kidnapped, and Mia seemingly murdered. Ethan's quest to save his daughter leads him to the titular Village. But who took his daughter and why? Well, it's looking like series poster boy Chris Redfield is responsible. Why? Chris has long been the series' lawful good Boy Scout. Sure, he's had his low points, but he always rises to the occasion to do what's right and punch his way through large boulders and into our hearts, which makes the horrible actions he's committed against Ethan's family all the more shocking. Why Chris has gone off the deep end like this will no doubt be one of the game's biggest mysteries. The box art of the game shows the brooding face of Redfield mirrored with a werewolf. Does Chris turn into a werewolf? Because that would be incredible. It is entirely possible that this isn't even the real Chris Redfield. After all, he's looking a lot beefier than the last time we saw him, but also that Chris is slimmer than the one punching the boulder, but that Chris is different from the one in Code Veronica, which to be perfectly frank, looks nothing like this guy, and you know what? Chris's true role as a villain or hero is still left up for debate, but we still have a very clear-cut villain in Lady Dimitrescu.
Well, Ethan Winters, you escaped my little brother's idiot games, did you?
She is the owner of a massive castle that looms over the village. The common people are terrified of the place and Dimitrescu, and as we've seen from the recently released Maiden demo, those who enter the castle don't leave. Also, we have her 3 terrifying daughters who possess the ability to turn into a swarm of bugs and want nothing more than to string Ethan up and eat him alive.
Man blood.
Dimitrescu also mentions a younger brother who might possibly be this Van Helsing-looking motherfucker. Dimitrescu and her family are seemingly the ones behind the kidnapping of Ethan's daughter, all part of a ceremony for one Mother Miranda.
Yes, of course, I understand the importance of the ceremony. I won't let you down.
So in the game, you'll be exploring both the Dimitrescu castle and the surrounding village. It's designed to be one seamless map you can explore. Its overall size is yet to be seen, but there's meant to be a greater emphasis on exploration than previous Resident Evils. Gameplay will be building off of the first-person nature of Resident Evil 7. This time around, guarding takes even greater importance to help Ethan counter foes, and you have the option to push them away if you're getting crowded. We've also seen a much greater variety of enemies, which is excellent news for those that found the molded in Resident Evil 7 a little one note. We've got these ghoulish-looking boys wearing cloaked rags and rocking swords and battle axes in the castle dungeon. Meanwhile, in the village, Ethan is attacked by a group of beefy, hairy, werewolf-like men, and one massive, bushy, bearded man with a giant hammer, who's given me big executioner vibes from Resident Evil 5. Honestly, the whole thing kind of feels like Resident Evil 4 infused with Bloodborne, 2 of my favorite games ever made, and I am here for it.
If it's just looking, window shop away.
Speaking of Resident Evil 4, Village has a merchant of its own, a lovely fellow known as the Duke. His shop lets you buy and sell weapons and ammo, as well as purchase gun upgrades, just like in Resident Evil 4. Also returning is the Tetris-style inventory management system. Creating first aid meds is now done from a new crafting menu. You can also craft ammo, just like in Resident Evil 3. The game very much feels like a collection of the Resident Evil franchise's best ideas fused into one game. Finally, it's worth mentioning that Resident Evil Village comes with a free separate Resident Evil multiplayer game called RE-Verse. It's a 6-person deathmatch where you pick your favorite character and duke it out in iconic Resident Evil locations, such as the Raccoon City Police Department. RE-Verse is another game in a long line of Capcom attempting weird multiplayer-focused Resident Evil games. Will this be the one that finally works out? Well, just have to wait and see. So when can you get your hands on the game? Thankfully, you only have to wait a few months as the game releases on May 7th. Originally, Village was only announced for current-gen systems, i.e. PS5, Xbox Series X/S, and PC, but it has now been confirmed for PS4 and Xbox One. If that's still too long of a wait and you're chomping at the bit to try it out and you happen to be one of the 5 people on the planet that owns a PS5, then you can check out the exclusive Maiden demo. It's described as a visual showcase that is its own separate experience, not part of the full game. If you don't have a PS5, don't worry, we captured the whole demo and you can watch it right here after this. Capcom is also aware that most people don't have a PS5, so there will be a separate second demo released on all platforms sometime this spring. So, that's everything you need to know about Resident Evil Village. So far, it's shaping up to be not only a fantastic follow-up to Resident Evil 7, but in many ways, a follow-up to the mechanics and themes of Resident Evil 4, which is really hard to not get excited about. Hopefully we'll get some hands-on time with the game before its full release, so make sure to come back to GameSpot for that, as well as our full coverage and review. Thanks for watching.